So, you're going to teach me how to walk.
Yes.
And be a model.
Yeah. So there's the
So you're saying that turning, not too much.
Yeah. So for high fashion, you're selling the clothes and things. So you're like more or less very expressionless, like a soldier, right? So, but then also you have to be like elegant.
I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time picturing this. Okay.
Pelvis forward.
It's not flattering.
Come on, pelvis forward. The shoulders back, relax, right? And then one foot in front of the other.
I'm just trying to forget. Wait.
Go slowly.
Go slowly.
I know.
One more time.
20. Okay.
You're behind the camera. Quiet.
Last one.
Salam and hello, everyone. Thank you for an incredible 2023. Before we let you go for the holidays, would you give us a gift? Would you like, subscribe, or share the show? Everything we do really depends on our beautiful listeners, and you have created such an incredible year for us. Every comment, every like, every engagement has meant the world to me and to the team. So as we go into 2024, we would love it if you would take a moment, go onto Spotify, Apple, wherever you consume the content, like it, follow it, and then please share it. Hit that little share arrow, send it to your cousins, send it to your friends, to your moms, to your kids. Share the show with them. It means the world. It makes all the difference for us. And as you go into the holidays, we wish you peace, we wish you joy, and we wish you abundant love from the entire Salam and Hello family.
Ajuma, if you're going, it's better we turn around and leave. We are not, I'm like, there's other, they're supposed to, if they don't get me, they're supposed to shoot other models or find somebody else. They were like, no. You are exactly what we are looking for, right? Just you the way you are. Everything about you is what we are looking for. And it's impossible for us to find somebody else like you, right?
Did you believe that?
Oh my gosh, I was confused.
Oh, wow. I can feel even now, many years later, how much that must have...
It was a lot.
Yeah.
I was so confused. And I was like, okay, this is too much. All of a sudden, there's this flood of Ajuma is beautiful. Ajuma, you're the only thing, or you're everything we're looking for, and all this kind of... Oh my gosh. It was a lot and very confusing.
This is Selam and Hello, where stories of joy and justice vibrate with the rhythm of Africa and the diaspora.
We're worried, anxious group of people trying to move along. Maybe one day we'll get onto something. Until then we say, hold on. I know it's hard, but baby, you just got to.
Salam and hello, everyone. My name is Lilly Piper, and welcome to the show. So let me tell you a little story today. Story time with your friend Lilly. When I was a child, I thought for sure my life was destined for the big stage. And by the big stage, I mean the catwalk. I covered my walls growing up with posters of models. Of course, Naomi Campbell. At the time, it was also like Christy Teigen. And I was an immigrant kid growing up in the U.S., and these were some of the people that I would look to, specifically Naomi Campbell, for sure. But then, as the years went on, there were more and more models coming out of the continent and out of Ethiopia, my home country in particular. And Iman, of course, oh my gosh, how can I forget? Iman was just like the epitome of beauty. So I got to high school, and my modeling dreams had not yet been achieved. If you've been watching me for some time, you know I have the height, but I also have some hips. So modeling was not in my future. But my last year of high school, I won our school pageant. I'm really telling you a story today. I won my school pageant. It was the Miss Riverside competition. And when you win the pageant, you get a modeling scholarship. that was my chance. I took about 6 or 7 weeks of modeling classes. At the end, we had a big show. I walked the runway. And at the ripe age of 18, I retired from the world of modeling. But I have continued to be fascinated by fashion. I love fashion. I love consuming it. My husband would tell you that I have a problem buying it. But, fashion inspires us. It's a place where we get to express ourselves, our identities, our cultures, our home, our personalities. It's a fun way to play amidst the many different ways in which we move in the world. So a few weeks ago, I attended Little Gig Lamu, which is a wonderful collective of creators and thinkers who gathered in Lamu to hear the stories and experience the artistry of people from many different disciplines. And at that event was the beautiful and brilliant Ajuma Nasenyana. Many of you know Ajuma. She has been a model at the global level for many years. She has walked for brands like Fendi, Victoria's Secret, Vivienne Westwood, Ferragamo, Cavalli, Lacoste. She is a well-known entity. And her beauty and her brilliance has captivated the minds and I'm sure the walls and the posters of many other young people across the world. Ajuma is also a philanthropist, and she is finding wonderful ways to give back and stay connected to her home and her community in Turkana and to Kenya more broadly as well. When we were at Little Gig, we had a chance to just talk, and I had a chance to hear a bit more about her story, her work, and I just knew, I was hoping that she would be gracious enough to join us on this show. So I am delighted today that Ajuma has joined us, and it is just my pleasure to welcome her to the show. So karibu, Ajuma.
Thank you so much, Lily. So nice to see you again.
So nice to be together.
We had such a fantastic time.
We had too much fun in Lamu. Take me back is what I want to say.
Right? It was really nice. Everybody was so amazing. And of course, you as well.
Oh,
so happy to have met you.
Good time. A lot of like-minded spirits and like-minded people there, which was really, really beautiful.
It was.
So, Ajuma, we were talking before you arrived. One of my producers, Becky, was saying she grew up with your face and seeing you and watching you. And so for many people across the world, you have been such a representation of beauty and elegance and grace. So tell us, how did you get started into this world of fashion and beauty?
Modeling and fashion. Okay, it wasn't something I thought I could do or even imagined I could ever do. Because growing up, of course, I wasn't the typical beautiful standards or criteria of maybe I can say within my vicinity, which is of course my village where I went to school, Kenya. Let's say Kenya. I wasn't the standard of beauty, and that was made very known to me from externally, right? From maybe bullying. From, I don't know, teasing, and then even to make it worse, it was also coming from adults as well, So, when it comes from an adult who is supposed to be encouraging you, supporting you, loving and things like this, it's like the nail on the coffin, So it makes you believe it that you're not beautiful or, or something like that.
And
so
what was the teasing about? Was it just you're too tall, you're too thin?
No, dark. My darkness that I was. I am like one of the darkest Kenyans because they always say, "Oh, you're Sudanese" and so on. I am one of the darkest Kenyans you can get. Maybe I'm on the darker skin tone of Kenyans. And so it was like maybe in school, kids calling me, monkey or charcoal or darkness and, even nigger, negro, it's like, because the thing is that what can I say? The projection of back in the day from the colonial days of a negro or a nigger was a very negative one, the narrative of a negro or a nigger was a very negative one. So the kids, maybe, us Black people adopted it. I think we had a discussion about this with Tsitsi in Lamu, and she gave me a very good term for it, negrophobia. Yes. So I felt like, of course, we adopted it in a way that we feel like the lighter skin you are, the more superior you are to the darker person. And of course, I laid down there one of the darkest people. Yeah. So I'm the one who got all the brunt of my lighter skin friends and family.
So at what point did that change for you?
When did it change? It didn't. I coped. Yes.
Let me just touch you, because isn't that the truth for so many of
as
us?
a child,
Yeah.
you don't know what to do. You find ways of coping. I got coping mechanisms, and that. No, it made me fear, actually, even. It made me paranoid and fear of going out in crowds because somebody might laugh at me. It really took over me. It completely consumed me, Like, I shouldn't even be out in crowds and like this because people are going to think I'm ugly or I don't look good and things like this, to the point where I got social anxiety. Now I recognize it now as social anxiety. And it was, I think it was severe, but I didn't understand. Nobody could understand. My parents can't even fathom the what I was going through at the time. And I'm a child, I can't explain it. So I really got, I think I developed social anxiety at that point.
I'm sorry,
I don't want to be like around people, or I want to walk in the sun because the sun is going to make me seem a bit lighter. This makes you paranoid and things like that. So I really struggled with that. Yeah.
So that's your growing up years. Is this into high school or so?
So that was growing up, and of course it was always that dark, that monster was always there with me. Now it's stuck. I mean, it's stuck with me. I still struggle with it sometimes, even to date. So that thing was always kept on. So when it got to high school, that is when now I got the coping mechanism. So yes, I was being teased, but I became a superb sportswoman. I was an amazing sportswoman. I was the captain of all hockey team, the netball team, rounders. I was just the captain of all those teams. And then I was also an athlete. In my school, I just won every single athletic race. So I became this little famous girl in school, which sort of, drowned the teasing and the commotion about my appearance and all these kind of things. The focus went away from my appearance to this athletic girl. And then from that, I became not a bully. I became a protector in a way, because I became tomboyish.
Yeah.
A bit rough, but not in an aggressive way. I was, I played with the boys and all these kind of things. So they always called me the tomboy and things like this. When I saw a bully bullying a child, I would go and stand. So the bully thought I was the bully, right?
Yeah,
so that is how I went around. I mean, that's how I navigated my school life, school years. But then when it came, of course, to, those things, when it came to beauty, boys hitting on girls and things like this, it never happened to me. So those are the kind of things that, it never happened to me, because still I'm dark and ugly. Even though I'm a famous runner or sports person, there was still that perspective and narrative that the children's, had been have in their minds, where the lighter skin is more beautiful. So when it came to beauty and appearance, of course, I wasn't in that category. Yes.
No, I really appreciate you sharing, because, so many of us have had experiences, but haven't maybe taken the time to reflect how it shows up today in our lives.
I know, yeah.
And I appreciate you just sharing that openly, because it's important for us to examine, who are we on that playground? Are we the bully? Are we the teaser? Are we the person who's silent, just watching it happen to somebody else? Even as adults, we have been in those social settings where that behavior persists. Was there a point for you? Because I've read about your athleticism, and you were a champion. Was it in 4x400 meters?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you see, my coping mechanism made me a Kenyan champion.
That's
so
right.
The teasing got me a coping mechanism that made me a Kenyan champion.
I love it. Listen, you're not one-dimensional. You're multi-dimensional for sure. So you're a sports person, you've established yourself in that, you had a reputation, I heard even a national reputation, other coaches were watching you, what you could do. At what point does fashion or modeling now become a part of your story?
We had visitors from America who visited our school, and they worked with the Operation Smile. And of course, they came to engage the students with their project, like going to hospitals and playing with the children that had just been operated, or entertaining the kids who are just about to get into theater. And of course, I was frontline of that. And so we did a talent show for them. And somebody told me, oh my God, you are beautiful. You can be a model, an international model. They are not, because they are from America.
Sure.
Now they are talking from the perspective of the international standard. So I was just like, huh? Like,
I'm Ajuma, the runner.
almost sort of, even with a feeling a little bit offended that she actually dared tell me I'm beautiful, because that is something, it's like, are you trying to, are you like patronizing me or something, right? So it came out like a little bit of anger in a way by hearing that I'm beautiful for the first time. It came out as a bit of anger. Now, then that ended. But then there was a little shift in my mind. Like a little seed had been planted somehow. Anyways, I went and started my athletics because I was like I said, I was a very good athlete. So there was also like Coach Hardy, which was Kip Keino's coach, one of the first Olympic champions in Kenya.
Okay.
Yeah, Kipchoge Keino, actually. Yeah. He was invited to one of our sports day in school. He saw me running. He's like, whoa, that child, I would love to have her for scholarship. She's that's a very talented child. And we need to look into her. So he told Kipchoge Keino that. And then he's like, okay, let her finish her school. And then you need to absorb her, bring her into the camp.
Wow.
And we train her and see what kind of potential she has, because I would like to give her a scholarship to Virginia Military Academy. And it used to be for men, but they were going to open now the first one for women. And I was going to be one of the first, one of the first ones to be taken there.
Did you actually end up competing at this point internationally anywhere or for Kenya?
Anyways, so now I continued. In the end, I did compete. I qualified for the junior, because I was still a junior. I qualified for the junior national championships.
Okay.
And I actually became the national champion in 400 meters.
Fantastic.
I know. It was
all of that was not
from
nothing.
the back of the pack to the front of the pack. And then, Kalenjins, they have the right, climate and altitude and everything like that. So they're very, very strong and powerful. But I did it.
Well done.
Yes.
Well done. It's interesting because it's almost like this whole running thing is a metaphor for your life in some ways. I mean, you have been on this path since you were young, taking you somewhere. You have been chased. Your potential, your talent, I think has been chasing you.
Yeah,
because you could do so many different things. You train for this year, you win a national championship. When does modeling show up? At this point, were you even thinking that running is going to be your future?
Yeah, so that's it. The thing is that with running, I had the talent, but not the passion, unfortunately, which I can say honestly.
Yeah.
Yes. So I had so it was more of a peer pressure from family, pressure from friends, pressure from coaches, pressure from everywhere. So it wasn't actually me. It wasn't inside of me. So I struggled with it quite a bit, mentally as well. And, when you're not passionate about something, you're not motivated
of course
to do it. But the talent was just there. That's the thing. I was just talented and it was amazing.
But, you took it seems like as far as you could take it without that passion. But
no, but the thing is that if modeling didn't show up, I would have still continued running.
Yeah.
And I was just saying, you know what? I'm going to continue and find the passion ukombele in front.
It will come.
I will meet the passion. It will come. No, I think it was just the first year and how intense and painful it was. Probably that is what made me withdraw from athletics. I think that was.
But I think that's actually I really love what you've said, because I do meet a lot of young people who feel as though in life they're going to be able to make a vocation out of their passion, and sometimes that doesn't happen. Sometimes you do just have to follow the path until the right intersection of your passion and talents comes, and it may come quick. It might take some time.
Yeah.
So when did you actually take a leap into? When did those seeds that were planted about fashion and modeling actually bloom into reality for you?
There was a Miss Tourism something. Somebody tried to push me to do Miss Tourism as well, which I did because I was in Nairobi at the time. I went and competed. Because the seeds have been planted somehow.
You're more open to it.
I'm starting to become a little bit more soft to the idea somehow, even though it's scary. I don't believe I am beautiful at this point, but I'm just like, okay, I don't know what I felt. Why did I do that actually? Why did I go for Miss Tourism? I have no idea. Because
But you,
I have
did
no
you, how
idea.
did you do? Did you win?
No, but I mean, I don't know. I was just like, okay, maybe it was me starting to face this shadow or dark thing or this negative narrative about my appearance or and so on. So I think this was at that point I was starting to like become devious maybe to myself and that monster inside of me. So I think that is why I think that is the reason why I went actually and competed for Miss Tourism. So I did go. I competed for Miss Tourism and I was Miss Nairobi, right? Or something.
But I think that's what I read also.
Yeah, I was representing Turkana though. So let me tell you what happened in this Miss Tourism thing. In the competition, every time I came out, the crowd stood up and screamed and screamed and screamed. Then I left, they sit down and keep quiet. The girls just keep coming, they keep coming. When I come again, there's an uproar, every time I came out. In the end, people were so upset that I did not win. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
They're like, oh, we're going to get drunk now. Wow, can you do that? Because they still felt like there was this thing where they were pushing the lighter skin. They felt like they're picking these girls because they're light-skinned. And I was just as beautiful or maybe even more. I don't know. It's just they can't think outside the box. That's what people felt. And they were very upset about it. So instead of me being Miss Turkana, they made me the third runner-up in order to at least
recognize
the people, the crowd, the best, the girl that the crowd supported. So I became number 3. And then there was number 2 and number 1, which went out into the international world to represent Kenya and so on. Yeah, but I felt like that people at that point were not really ready to think outside the box and pick a dark skin.
Yeah, but did that signel to you though?
Yes.
Those things were true.
All of a sudden people are like standing and screaming. I was like, okay. I started like feeling like a little queen somehow for a moment.
Yeah. Did that pageant give you now the connections to the modeling industry? Were you scouted at that point?
From that point, I was on the newspaper as Miss Nairobi, and then I was spotted by now Lindsay McIntyre, who was scouting for Ford Models. At the time, Ford Models was the biggest agency in the world at the time. She managed to track me down. She was like, Ajuma, I think you can be a model, an international model. At this point, of course, I've been fed little. This is when now the cognitive dissonance was real. I was like, no, I don't think, first of all, I don't believe I can be of international standards. Yes, the Kenyans have been screaming during Miss Tourism, whatever, and I won Miss Nairobi, but I don't believe, my head is still not there where I think that I can make it internationally. So I just thought, okay, I don't know. I'm going for my athletics scholarship because at that point I was actually preparing to go for my athletics scholarship in Virginia. Yes, because I had won the national champions and things like that. And I was just working on my paperwork and just, navigating through that. So I was like, I can't, I'm going for athletics and so on. And then she was like, oh my gosh, they even photographers, I've sent your picture to Ford and things like this. They really, really want you. And they asked me to come and, find you. Or she scouted me. She took pictures of me, sent them to Ford Models. Ford Models said, this is the girl we want. We want this girl. You're right. So I was like, I'm not sure. I was very still not okay with the idea.
Are you talking to people during this process? Your mom?
No, I'm not.
Your friends,
they won't even understand.
No.
First of all, I'm even scared. They might start laughing. If I tell my friends, they will just laugh about it. Like, you? Model? I know. They'll be like, Pana, no. I think they would. I was scared of their negative what do you call it? Feedback. Yeah,
sure.
Yeah. Okay. So I didn't even talk to my mother about it. I didn't talk to my friends or anyone about it.
And what convinced you to finally take her seriously and to agree?
She told me there's photographers, because she had sent, and there's now photographers who are coming from Paris, and they're looking for a model to shoot. And she has sent my pictures, and those photographers have said, we would love to shoot her, right? And I've never done a photo shoot in my life. Never. I don't even know what goes into a shoot. So I was like, no, I can't. And then it happened by coincidence, those guys, the photographers were landing, and I was taking off around within the same time, right? So she told me, Ajuma, do me a favor. They are landing, and you'll be at the airport at the time. Meet them.
No way.
Yeah, just meet them out. Just meet them in the airport and just make connections. You don't know because you're flying out anyways. In the Western world, you can meet or something like this, and you never know, right? So I was like, okay, fine, whatever. Because I'd already refused. I would say I had made up my mind.
This is so interesting because again, something is chasing you.
Yeah, it's so weird.
Because you're even saying no, and the person to say just meet at the airport is really, that does not happen.
So I was like, okay, and by coincidence, how is it that our flights are, around the same time, right? So I was like, yeah, whatever. I started to feel guilty in a way that, okay, I started questioning myself, what if I'm losing an opportunity here and things like this? Of course, just because I don't believe I am good enough or something. I mean, those thoughts were going through my mind. And I started feeling a bit, and then she was also pressuring me about it. I was feeling like I'm disappointing her at the same time. But I decided, okay, fine, I'll meet them, but I'm not staying. I'm leaving. So I met these guys. They saw me. They were like, Ajuma, if you're going, it's better we turn around and leave. We are not, I'm like, there's other, they're supposed to, if they don't get me, they're supposed to shoot other models or find somebody else. They were like, no. You are exactly what we are looking for, right? Just you, the way you are, everything about you is what we are looking for. And it's impossible for us to find somebody else like you, right?
Did you believe them?
Oh my gosh. I was confused.
Oh, wow. I can feel even now, many years later, how much that must have...
It was a lot.
Yeah.
I was so confused. And I was like, okay, this is too much. All of a sudden, there's this flood of Ajuma is beautiful. Ajuma, you're the only thing, or you're everything we're looking for, and all this kind of... Oh my gosh. It was a lot and very confusing.
Even with the lights, the makeup, the stars, all these things that were not familiar. Did you feel something natural click in you?
Me, myself.
Yeah.
That, I don't know.
Yeah. Even I'm feeling I should sit up a little differently even now I'm watching you.
There was just something inside of me.
So something did click.
Yeah, there was something. There was just something inside of me that rised. There was something arising inside of me to this more confidence and feeling more connected with myself.
Yeah. And
powerful. There's a power that rose inside of me. What else? I don't know. There was just, it's like I came home to myself somehow, There was that thing. I was like, I just felt like, okay, it is there.
Absolutely. That's beautiful.
Yeah, I feel like
did you get to see those images that they took of you?
Yes, I did.
What did you feel when you saw those images?
I was like, ooh, she's pretty.
I love it. Who did you share them with first? Who was the first person you wanted to see what you saw?
Oh, my mother. Yeah, my mother, my family, my grandma. But my grandma couldn't understand. She was just like, oh, that's all she said. I can't even, as in trying to explain to her, what am I doing? What am I doing there? Who took the picture? Or what am I doing? Till today, I don't even know how to explain to my grandma.
Yeah.
Because
models are born. How do you explain it? It's just who I am.
So I was like, wow.
What did you remember maybe your mom or some of your closest family saying to you when they saw those images?
As Turkanas, we don't express things to each other. That is how we are. We are hardcore. We don't really have that relationship of, what do you call it? Expressing and, what can I say? Emotional expression and all these kind of things. We don't do that. Yeah. But I could just see the smiles. I could tell from the smiles in their eyes. I could see they were admiring. Yeah.
How did that feel to you?
Yeah, I felt good. It felt really good. And it felt like finally I can be seen.
Did that, and I'm just curious because any career takes time to build, right? You might start at entry level, then work your way up. So after that first photo shoot, how quickly was it before this actually became a career for you?
Oh, Lily, takes a long time. Like, for example, where you actually make money out of it, or what are you saying?
Exactly. I think that's a good way to put it. Yeah.
It takes a long, maybe even 2 years. Yeah.
So those first 2 years are just more pictures, more networking.
No, you're working. No, it's because now the agency is investing in you, right? You're not making money because you're getting introduced into the industry. You have to do, your portfolio, like your actual test shoots. We call them test shoots, where you pay for.
Okay.
Flights to whatever, to Europe and or America and all around, where you're getting introduced to the industry, you pay for. Castings, like your train tickets, cabs from the airport. It's a lot. So it costs the agency so much. By the time you're getting jobs, it's all going like minus, which can be so discouraging, disappointing, right? Because you're seeing you're working so much and you're working for big brands, but you're not making anything. It can be very, very demoralizing.
And during that time, are you thinking, if I just stay with it long enough, I'll start to see the payoff? Or did you have a time limit? Because I'm thinking you had given up a scholarship to university, which is 4 years. So at least in a situation like that, you have 4 years to, make the most of that opportunity. When they started modeling, what did you think?
At that point was when, me, the way I've been like...
Yes.
So I'm like, hey, okay. At this point, I'm thinking of my next thing. Where am I going to run? I'm not making money here. I'm working so hard. And, I'm traveling around the world and I'm feeling discouraged. All this rejection. You go to this client, they don't want you because, Ajuma, we're not looking for black girls this season. All these kind of things. There's all that. And, it's quite a lot. I'm like, I'm not quite comfortable here in this thing.
Sure.
So I'm already thinking about the next step, the next thing.
Okay. And what was the next thing for you?
At that point,
in your mind, what did you think it would be?
Business. Business or school.
Okay.
So I was already, even though, yes, I'm giving myself time to break even in the industry, but at the same time, I have actually realized you don't make money. It's not as glamorous as people put it. You don't just come and money rains on you. And also there's a lot of rejection within the industry. When it comes to managing finances, it's your first time. I mean, I was 18 or 19 when I got in. There's nobody to advise you, once you get maybe your big chunk of money, how to manage it and all these kind of things. I was just like, okay, this is very unsustainable and unstable.
Yeah.
This is unstable grounds, right? I was already starting to think about the way out, even though I was waiting to break even, which I eventually did, and it was okay. But then I saw as well, models had been there for so long. They're in their 40s and they haven't gotten children and things like this. Me, I know I want to be a mother. I'm like, no, that is not going to be me. First of all, I put that one down. Just to see how long I'm going to stay there. And then I'm seeing models who have phased out and they are still in the industry. They are struggling because work has become less. They're struggling to, financially and all these kind of things. Like, nope, that is not going to be me.
So you're taking note of all these things as your modeling career is building. So you're seeing all these signs, kind of the writing on the wall that this career can go a lot of different ways.
Yes.
For you, what's the point where you decide, okay, no, I'm sticking this out? What was for you the sign that, when you didn't get on the plane 2 years before, when they took that first photo of you, what was the sign to you that I'm going to keep with this path?
With the modeling?
Yeah, with the modeling.
I think I made some good friends good friends, which I felt, okay, because there was also the loneliness that was killing me, because where I grew up in a big family. Like in my home, I lived with my cousins, my aunties, and so on, because my mother was more or less stable, the stable one within the family, setting, our homestead. So she supported a lot of our family members. So I grew up having a huge family, and going into Europe and being on my own was very scary, but I made a friend. I was like, okay, I'm getting a little bit more comfortable. Okay. And then I found a very good agent. Yeah, very good within my agency, which I actually never left. Even when they left that agency, I followed her to that agency she went to, because you really need, because it's so scary. Like everything is just it's just scary because you don't know anything. You're just like what do you call it? A deer in headlights in the industry. So I got a very good connection with an agent, so I felt more safe. Yeah. And then also jobs started rolling in, and of course I started to break even and started actually making profit. Then I was like, okay, fine. Okay, but from what I've been experiencing, like just when I got into now, I don't want to. I saw that is where you will go back to. This is you start difficult, and then you have the where you break even, and then it goes back down again to something like this. And I don't know if it rises again. I wasn't sure. I was like, no, I'm not going to wait and see that. So I did do my thing to the point where I was just, there was a time I called it, okay, fine. No, this is enough. I stepped out.
Okay.
Stepped back.
What was that turning point for you?
I think it was like, where I grew up very grounded with very real values. I was very realistic. I was from what I went through, I was very aware of my surroundings. I think that is what made me very, like my radar was up at all time. So I feel like my upbringing actually gave me a very good foundation in order for me to make certain decisions when I got into the modeling industry, right? And made me very sensitive to certain things and energies and so on, and how I felt and aware of my feeling. My feelings and thoughts as well. So when did I stop? Now it started getting like, okay, lonely, started getting homesick, because you're in New York, this huge city, glitz and glam. Oh, P. Diddy's party tomorrow, Jay-Z's party the next day. Whoa. Yeah, it's insane. It's busy. What? But so lonely, Even when I was there in that, in those parties, and it's crazy. People are drinking whatever they're doing. I don't want to mention. I always felt disconnected, and I didn't really feel like I fitted in. I felt it was very superficial. These people, yes, I will go have fun, drink with you, but I'm not really benefiting anything out of this thing, or being around P. Diddy or P. Diddy's birthday, or what famous person's birthday. It's like I just felt like an object just to appear there, because models were needed to look some type, or to make the party look even more, attract more people and things like this. I just said, no, I don't fit in this sort of banter. It's not my thing.
How old were you when you decided this was good, I'm done?
I think I was 24.
Wow, you were young still.
Yes, I was 24, 25. I was like, okay. I don't mind, in Turkana, we had that thing of also, I always wanted to be a mother, but a young mother.
Okay.
I start early so I can finish early and things like this. So I was like, hey, okay. I heard eggs finish.
So you were listening to your body and your brain. At this point, you're like, this is not what I want.
I started feeling like, hey, what if my eggs finish? Because when you're like, when you're young, you think 30 is old.
Of course.
Yeah. So I was like, hey, what if I reach 30 and my eggs finish?
Yeah, well, you were 47, then 50 sounds old. And then you realize you're so close. Yes, I hear you.
So I was like, it's time to get off. So I went off, had my first son, came to Kenya, established my business, because now I'm feeling like, this is the time I'm actually getting scared of my future,
Yeah.
because at this point, yes, jobs have started slowing. I can feel the
Sure.
diminishing of work somehow. The phone calls are getting less. The itinerary is getting shorter and things like this. But that was just starting. I was like,
And I'm out. Can I ask you a question? Did you, at that point, when the diminishing phone calls, etc., start to happen, had the cognitive dissonance in your mind faded enough that you didn't think of that as now a new kind of bullying or disconnect, but rather just this is the nature of the industry,
do you know
and
what,
you could
Lilly?
just take it for what it was?
What's funny is, like, even when we went to, like I said, I don't know, I was so grounded.
Yeah.
For some reason, I was just grounded. Maybe you can tell me why, because you seem to be like picking on things and making it like, in like, what do you call it? Like, you switch the light on somehow inside my brain with certain things. So I always, like, when we went to castings and maybe we got rejected, of course, models felt, not worthy, feeling loathing on themselves and, depressed and, I don't know, not feeling good, whatever. But for me, I always, like, I even told them, because that is what I felt. I was like, okay, this person has a product. This is their product. This is their bread and butter. They're gonna do what they think will work for the product.
Yeah.
It's nothing to do with me, Absolutely nothing to do with me. If they think this coffee, maybe a white person or a Caribbean person, would look better drinking it because that is their target market. It's nothing to do with me, and that is what I kept explaining to the models. So even when of course work started diminishing, or when I started feeling that thing, I was like, oh, no,
this is my exit ticket.
Yeah, because there's nobody here for me, my friend. That's what you realize even in the industry. You're there on your own.
Ajuma, it's amazing because your path from like the way you were teased and how hard it was for you at times seemed to have also built up an inner strength in you.
Resilience.
You're like, I know who I am. I can run 1,000 miles and I can handle you and I can also walk away.
Right.
That takes quite a lot of, I think, emotional strength.
And there's that, but of course you also have your down, your weaknesses as well. There's strength in that, but there's also weaknesses, definitely. Yeah.
Tell us about the work that you're doing with the Ajuma Foundation and what inspired you to start that organization.
Yeah, so my pillars for Ajuma Foundation is elevating literacy in rural Kenya with a focus on the pastoralist communities by provision of writing materials, and then also uniting Kenya through the younger generation, which I will take you through very soon. But anyways, the inspiration behind Ajuma Foundation, I was born of a teenage mother. Of course, because we are very, very traditional, Turkana is traditional, girls are very, very prized. The fathers prize their girls because they are the ones who make the fathers rich. That is where their dowry comes from. That is where their wealth comes from. It's from the girl, right? So the girls are saved for marriage. Yes, my mother had me out of wedlock, which was an abomination to the culture and my family and so on. So my grandfather was very upset and kicked her out of the home, right? She was roaming around the village and other villages as well, trying to get food and shelter and so on. And eventually when she had me, she was found by a Swedish family. Yeah, with a small little newborn baby. They took her in, and they took care of me. They put my mother back in school. My mother, and after high school, they put back into, because she was 15, so they put her through high school, and then they put her through college, where she did social studies. She came back and started the first ever women empowerment group in Turkana.
Wow.
Now, this women empowerment group was based on, of course, yes, women rights, HIV/AIDS, and women in leadership. Sawa.
Okay, yeah.
Now, this was very foreign to this community, especially the male ego. It was like, yo, like,
what are you doing?
Yeah, what?
Yeah.
So anyways, so my mother started off, all of a sudden, women are starting to say, like when they go and fetch water, no, it's too heavy. The man would beat her. Like he's never heard a woman stand up to him to say that the bucket is too heavy, the jerrycan of water is too heavy. She would get beaten like crazy, almost to death, right? Just by that. The woman will be brought, because now they know my mother is there for them and standing up for them. The woman would be brought to our home.
Oh, wow.
My mother would put her in the car, take her to like the hospital, plus call the police. They see her. She would take the police car, go and pick up that man who beat her and throw him in jail.
Your mom should be on this show.
So it was like that. It happened like that. The men, let me tell you, it caused so much chaos in the village. The men used to come with pangas to our house, to our gate, wanting my mother. She's teaching our women bad manners. You know, all of a sudden the woman doesn't want to have sex. You know, she doesn't want to have any more children. Or even, I'm tired. And then, so it was like a back and forth. They beat them. My mother throws them in jail like that. So it was like this until now. It's sort of, they got sensitized in a way. The men, they caught up to it. That you actually can't do that. Women actually have rights. Women are humans. Women have choices too, right? So they caught up to it somehow, and it's sort of like calmed down in a way. But anyways, out of that, there's women chiefs coming from my mother's organization. There's women MPs now coming from my mother's organization. There's, I don't know, just different sort of community leaders that have come from that particular, whatever.
From her.
The women
friends.
group. So the
fantastic.
whole place was built by women. She never hired even one man. The watchman was a woman. Every single stone and rock was laid by a woman, and she continued supporting. Even till today, they support. It's only supporting women. Yes.
So I asked you about the Ajuma Foundation, but you told me about your mom.
Oh,
that's so beautiful.
I'm sorry.
I want to just appreciate that, because it's like your whole story of your career. There was something behind you.
Yes.
It's like your mom's tenacity really shows up in you.
Like she was my mother was like a bull. And I saw that as well growing up as a child.
So it seems like this was a natural thing to do, was to create this foundation.
So she stood up to men actually in a community where men are dominant.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us
anyways,
about
the foundation,
what you're doing.
Under Ajuma Foundation, we have several different projects. We have the sanitary pad distribution. We try to support girls with sanitary pads. We partner with other organizations as well. I mentor girls, of course, like not to fall into early pregnancy. Like, look at me, there's hope. Things just lined up. Fate just lined up for me. It can happen to you too. Things, I don't know how it happened, but it did. And it's possible for you as well. You never know what is in store for you. And then also, since we have one of the biggest refugee camps within our community, as a host community member, I gave a hand to the refugee camp as well when it comes to entrepreneurship skills. So I go and have skill-based program with them, like for a week or two, where I teach them about things within my field, like makeup artistry, hairdressing, design, fashion, digital skills, and all these kind of things. So they're not just sitting there waiting for handouts from the United Nations, which is just for basic items. It is not really. I'm giving them an opportunity to, become entrepreneurs and make something more for themselves. Anyways, we one of the designers from our program is in Canada designing, by the way.
Hey, fantastic.
Yeah, there were models models were identified by United Colors of Benetton in Paris and maybe different agencies in Paris. I even have New York agencies still looking for the girls as well right now. Yes. But anyways, Lily, let's get to this one now.
Let's get to this.
Yeah.
What did you bring us today?
So you see this now. During COVID, everybody was feeding people. And so did I. But then I was like, I feel like, you know, there's still children who sit at home because they don't have exercise books. I know, and I've seen it within my community. You know, sometimes you find a child walking back home from school crying. You're like, Nini, what is wrong? She's like, she's been beaten and kicked out of the classroom because she doesn't have an exercise book to write on. Such a cheap thing, right?
Amazing.
And then the problem is with this marginalized communities, the literacy level is so low compared to the rest of Kenya, right?
Yes.
They're not able, when you have famine and all these kind of things, they're not able to think outside the box, right? When you have famine, when global warming hits these areas, they're not able to think about outside the box. They can't farm. You need education. They can't trade. You need education. So when their cattle die, they also die, which is really, really sad, right? So this lack of education is detrimental to our communities, especially with the changing world right now. Yeah. So I coined education. I fundraised between the first time I did it was 2021. I fundraised between my family and friends. When I got the funding, you know what I did? Because I had already said I'm going to buy exercise books for the children. I didn't want to come to Kenya and just buy any other exercise book because they promote so much Western cultures on the cover. If you go into the supermarkets, you'll see our kids' books have Spider-Man, Frozen, and all these kind of things. And we have our own vibrant, beautiful cultures that we need to embrace. So what I decided I'm going to create my own school notebooks. And I decided to illustrate myself on the covers of the books.
Fantastic.
In order to get our children acquainted with our different tribes, also due to the tribalism within our country as well. Of course, and I feel like because we don't really know each other, what you don't know, you're obviously afraid of. So I go around the country while I'm giving out exercise books to the children to keep them in school. I'm also uniting Kenya through the younger generation.
Beautiful.
Yes. So, for example, this is the Kikuyu cover. When I'm deep in Turkana, where they don't get any information from the rest of Kenya, you know, I'm able to show the children we are many tribes in Kenya. We are 47. This is a tribe called Kikuyu. This is how they dress. At the back, within our map, I show the children where the Kikuyu people come from and also how to greet in Kikuyu.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. The next time they make a Kikuyu friend, they're able to greet them in their language.
Wimwega.
Wimwega. Yes.
Yeah, I'm Kikuyu fluent now.
And then when I'm on the other end of the thing, I'm able to show them the Samburu. I'm also able to educate the children about the Samburu tribe, that we also have the Samburu tribe, equally as beautiful as yours.
Yes.
And we love them so much. And the Samburu people come from here, and this is how they greet. Yeah, like
let's try the greeting. We have to try the greeting for this one too.
No, I wish I had the Turkana here. You should have.
Oh yeah, that would have been good. But
No, you might know.
Kejua.
Yeah. Seriana.
Yes. I'm fine. That even sounds like someone's name.
I know, right? It's
Let me see
beautiful.
who I have here on this one. I have the Swahili people on this one. Hamjambo.
Sijambo.
This one was almost predictable, but fantastic.
Yeah, so this is for the older children.
These are beautiful.
And these are for the younger children. Yeah. We go around the country quarterly. We pick a region. And then within that region, together with the stakeholders of the community, they pick the most vulnerable schools, no matter how far or even though they don't have a road. We will Ajuma Foundation makes sure they get to those children.
Wow, amazing, amazing. How many kids have you been able to get these notebooks to so far?
50, Lola? 50? Oh, 60,000 children.
Fantastic.
Oh, with this last drive, you guys, remember I told you about it in Lamu.
Yes.
So with this last drive, we're able to fundraise for the logistics because we had the books and we had a challenge with the logistics to get the books there. So we're able to fundraise and get the money for logistics, and now we've gone up to 60,000 children.
Fantastic. Congratulations.
Yes. Thank you.
I mean, Ajuma, this is, it feels silly to say congratulations because really the best word is to say thank you because really they're all of our children. They belong to us, and you've taken this effort to just make sure that they have the experiences, opportunities that you've had, that opportunity to capture their learning.
In my very little small way.
Yeah, but that's all we can do.
Because you go and give out the books. The girls need dormitories, for example, in West Pokot, because the Morans are hot on these girls. They come and, they say they risk being kidnapped by Morans and made young wives and things like this.
Right.
Or, you find kids they are so lethargic, they can't even, sit up in the classroom because they've been starving for days. There's no food at home, there's no food in school, which is so sad, and I'm going to give them a book, So that is why actually these books are being sold in Naivas, in Ruby's shops,
Great.
at just the normal retail price, which is like, for example, the 200 pages is from, let's say, it's like around 120, 160
just the normal price that you'd be paying anyways.
You'll be paying anyways
so
for
why
other
not
books.
buy these?
So,
Yes.
so what we do, we have decided to sell these books. So the profits, we are able to replenish the books for the children, but at the same time, tackle those challenges like water and feeding programs, dormitories, sanitary pads. So this is why we request for Kenyans to choose our exercise books, especially there's back to school in January.
100%.
Please, choose our exercise books so we are able to continue supporting these children, because, oh my gosh, I wish when you're there, you will see how much help is needed. It's so sad and heartbreaking, So that's what I do actually.
Yeah.
I take my donors to the ground, so because I'm able to show them that there's more needed than just books.
But you know what I love what you're doing is that this is very accessible to all of us. It's something that we all need. Even if you don't have a student in school, it's a good notebook just to have the office, wherever. You've given us a way to get involved that is accessible. So thank you for that, Ajuma, because you're not asking for something extraordinary.
No,
you're asking
I'm giving you something.
In your day-to-day, do something practical and be a bit...
all you need to do to help us is choose our books.
Naivas and Ruby stores.
And then they're also beautiful.
They are.
They will also connect your children in the different tribes of Kenya. I'm sure in the urban area, I think the disconnection is even worse than the rural.
There are disconnection for sure. Well, these are fantastic ways for us to stay involved.
And then also, if whoever wants to maybe not buy the exercise books, there's also other channels of donation.
We'll put that all in the show notes. Ajuma Foundation.
Yeah, we have Ajuma Foundation.org. We have a GoFundMe page.
Fantastic.
We have M-Pesa, different channels of, you can always give to us. And
we'll
help
make sure that we include
and become
all of
a
that.
champion for education in rural Kenya.
This is the new catwalk now. The new catwalk is just here. We ask this of everybody who comes on the show, whether they are Kenyan, whether they're Nigerian, whether or not they are international celebrity or, an average person. What is your favorite drink?
My favorite drink has to be, let me think. I don't like soda. Am I supposed to be just like this?
Yeah, you're supposed to be just like this. What's your favorite drink? If someone is coming to your home, what are they going to find you drinking?
My favorite drink, water.
Listen, water is life.
Yeah, just water. Seriously. My favorite drink is water. If I had a choice, I would just drink water.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Water is life. And the next question, this is a show all about joy and justice. And I have loved hearing your story today. Beyond actually even what I had prepared to ask you in questions, you have just taken us on this joyful journey through your life.
Yes.
So Ajuma, today, what is bringing you joy in your life?
Me, I know I'm older and I should be wiser, but I have this thing where I'm starting to tap into self-love, which is bringing me joy.
I love that.
It's amazing. For the first time, I'm actually considering me, and it feels good. I think that is where I
love that.
When I take a step back out of everything, when it's chaotic, I forget about myself, and I've forgotten about myself for a very long, many years. But all of a sudden, of course, I said through cognitive behavioral therapy, there's that thing, there's a shift within me, and sometimes I can actually take a step back and, Yani, for the first time, I'm feeling, I can tell myself I love myself without cringing.
I love that. I love that, Ajuma.
Can you
That
imagine?
no one has
I
said
mean,
that in, I don't know, 40 episodes this year.
I'm saying
And I
no,
love
but
that.
Lily, it's something
Yeah.
amazing and
It
incredible.
is.
It's euphoric, and I'm like, okay, this is something that this has been a missing link in my life
Yeah.
for many, many years. But this is the time I'm discovering it. Like now, I'm like, where have I been to do this? You know.
Well, if this is
So-
where self-love begins for you, I am
That's
scared
okay.
of what is next because Ajuma, you are unstoppable. And I
no,
cannot
but
wait to see
it's
what
on
you do
and
next.
off.
That's allowed. You're allowed to turn off sometimes
No,
too.
it turns itself off, and then I try to scramble and look for it again. You know, it just comes in episodes, but that's practice. I mean, Rome wasn't built in a day.
No, it
you know.
wasn't.
So I've learned for many years not to love myself, and it's gonna take a long time for me to actually get there. But I've started the journey, and it feels amazing.
The journey continues.
Yes.
Well, thank you for bringing your journey on Selam and Hello today. It's been joyful and powerful. You've really made us think and reflect. Thank you. Thank you for being with us. We're so grateful. And I am sure, listeners, that you have enjoyed this episode. And if you've got questions for our sister Ajuma, send us a message, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, at Selam and Hello, Selam, SELAM, and hello. Of course, you can always email us as well, lily@selamandhello.com. And until we meet again, peace.
I know it's hard, but baby, you just got to hold on. I know it's hard, but baby, you just got to hold on.